Hello there. Today I have something from Leonardo Officina Italiana from the Momento Magico collection. This is the box, or more accurately the outer sleeve of the box, and inside that we have an actual box. The orange sleeve appears to be attached to the interior black sleeve, so if you get that, don't try and rip that off like I nearly did in your excitement. Inside the box you get a little leaflet with Leonardo details, bits and bobs, bit of history and stuff like that, which is nice. Then you get your pen in a sleeve and a little tag on your pen, and a nice little pen bed there. That's enough with the box. Where's the pen? Pen is there. This particular one is in Jonathan Brooks resin. This is the Calico koi resin. I really like these koi patterns that I've seen from Brooks and some others, I believe, when I've been surfing around looking at stuff I can't afford. But I decided to treat myself to something recently due to an annual bonus. So after exhaustive lists and stuff like that of what I would treat myself to, I decided on this, or more accurately, two things, and this was one of them, and I'll do the other one another time. Enough about me, more about the pen, right? So, parts of the pen, you've got, so it's a Momento Magico, so similar to the Momento Zero, but a bit different. You have your kind of pointed finials there on the cap and the piston knob. You've got the Leonardo clip, which is nice and springy with your little wheel to clip over and aid going onto a shirt pocket, and etc. You've got a nice little cap band here which curves down into the barrel from the cap. It comes at a nice angle, I really like that, with the Leonardo stamp on the front and Leonardo on the other side. Do please excuse, by the way, the sounds of washing machine and kids playing in the garden in the background. I do have to pick my moments for these. So it is a piston filler, so you got your piston turning knob there, separated by silver band there. Your resin kind of, it doesn't match up completely, but it's always going to be tricky with something like this. But you can see the patterns do follow reasonably well from cap to barrel there. This cap does have different start points on the thread, so you can realign that whichever way you want to do so. Cap unscrews in one, just over one, maybe 1.25. You got your ink window there underneath the cap, so cap's in place, you can't see the ink window. Take your cap off, you can check your ink levels. Ink capacity in the Leonardo piston is about 1.5 milliliter, as stated on the box, which I've chucked on the floor, so I'm not going to pick up again. Then you have the Leonardo La Fenice nib, the newer nib, which I believe is made in-house. Could be wrong, correct me if I am. I know they used to use Yovo, Bock before that, I believe. And a plastic feed. Nib unit is screw-in, so you can unscrew the whole nib unit. Section, it's just got that nice little flare out there, which is the, I've not had a Magico before, so but certainly on the older Momento Zeros, Momento Zero Grands, there used to be the kind of milk bottle-esque section, and they've gone to this one with the touch of the flare out, but I don't know if that was there already. check that if you fancy. Cap threads, not sharp. You can feel a bit of a step down between the last thread and the barrel. Again, not sharp, but it is a noticeable step down if you put your fingers over there, but it's comfortable however you're going to hold that. Even if you rest your finger under the threads, for example, it's not sharp. So, comfortable experience. So, a few measurements of the pen. You have your capped, these are all approximate with my limited measure equipment. Capped 146, uncapped 132, posted 171, all in millimeters. Weights in grams, cap 25. This is inked, so give or take a gram or so. Uncapped 17, and the cap is 8. Barrel at your widest point is about 14, and then down at the end of your piston knob just tapers down slightly to 12, and your section, again, it's about 11 just up the top here, about 10 down at your pinch. And does post quite nicely. That's post securely. Does make it a bit long for me. I find that satisfactory. Unposted. Shall we see how it writes? Clairefontaine 90 GSM paper. So we have Leonardo Momento Magico. Medium, steel nib, number 6 size. So it's in the Calico Koi with Jonathan Brooks. I'm not going to write that out. I'll pop it in the description. That focus isn't great. How's that? Yeah, I was talking to myself there. Sorry. Ink in here is Diamine Automoke. Apologies for the silence, but as documented before, I can't write and talk at the same time. Certainly not with any capability. Let's try it fast. It keeps up nicely without any skippage. Let me just bring this out a little. So decent flow there. It's not the wettest ink in the world, but you get a decent flow out of that. This particular medium puts down a 0.5mm line, and with a bit of pressure you can get that up to 0.8. You're getting on for a broad, I suppose, but that's quite a bit of pressure. It is quite stiff, So don't go getting this for a bit of flex. Reverse. Just about does a couple of words before it dries out there. Relatively smooth for your word or two that you might get. However, don't know if you could pick it up at all while I was writing there. So on the face of it, it's an okay writer in the smoothness department, but if you put a little tiny bit of tilt on that, as sometimes I do, accidentally rotate my nibs. Don't know if you can hear that. I get quite a bit of scratch. Now, when I got it, the tines, free up my focus now. When I got it, the tines were a little bit misaligned. So inked it up as you do, nice and excited. Get rid of this for a second. Nice and excited, nice new pen, treat, etc. Been sitting there expecting it. You get it, you ink it up, and it writes scratchy. That's annoying. So I did realign the tines a little bit prior, well, pretty much when I got it, prior to making this. So this isn't how it came out of the box. I realigned the tines a bit, just a little bit of pushy, bendy, technical term. It's still got a little tiny bit of scratch on it. If I'm really careful about my alignment on the paper, so yeah, if I really hold my writing angle, I've smoothened it out a bit just by aligning the tines. I don't really want to take any micro mesh to it because I'm not that talented with that as yet, so I might get someone, Nibmeister, to have a look at that at some stage. There's a little bit of a disappointment. It's going to happen sometimes, but I'll go into that in a second. Couple of size comparisons. Lamy Safari. Then you got the Big Brother Momento Zero Grande. Jinhao X159. Sailor Pro Gear Regular. Should have done that one last, really. Scooch that over there. And the Moonman P136, just for some quick sizes there. So things I do like this resin. It is really my cup of tea. Just really like the swirls in there. You've got a few little bits of sparkle in there. It's just really lovely. I suppose if I was nitpicking, I wouldn't mind this not being a little bit translucent in places. You can see where the orange there, you can see through into the barrel, sort of more so on the section actually. I mean, that's nitpicking to the extreme, I suppose, but the rest of it is lovely. I really like these koi patterns. I really like the look of the cap band, just the way that curves down onto the barrel there. Really like that. Piston filler, nice ink capacity, ink windows under the cap, which I prefer. It's a nice sized clear ink window as well, so you're in no doubt whether you've got ink in that or not. And as an overall pen, it's really comfortable to hold, really comfortable in the hand, just sits there nicely. Maybe a little bit light for my personal preference, but well within tolerance, and that section is very comfortable. What do I not like? Well, the nib annoyed me. I shan't lie. So price of the pen was €185, excluding the VAT, which DHL were kind enough to take off. So you're looking around €200, a little bit more, with the VAT included if you are in a European country. I wouldn't expect to get a misaligned nib for that, if I'm honest, and I know stuff's going to happen from time to time, but they do look, to be fair, Leonardo have a good reputation for nib standard, but this one slipped through the QC, I'm afraid, so that was a bit disappointing, especially when it's a treat that you've saved up for, or, you know, annual bonus, whatever it might be. And, you know, you're a bit of a nerd and you sit there and do lists of stuff. What shall I do? What shall I get? And you come up with something and then you get it and it's disappointing. It adds a little bit of extra disappointment. Look, it's not the end of the world. It can be sorted out. But still, that's how I feel on that. The security, if you like, of when you screw the cap shut isn't brilliant. I have actually picked this up off my desk or off my tray or something like that, and it's pretty much, it doesn't purchase that well, and I'm hesitant to over tighten it because they're not that deep, the threads on the cap. About halfway up there, don't know if you can see. So I don't want to over tighten that and pop the threads or something, but you know. So I like the look of the cap band, I do, and if I don't know why, but sometimes I run my thumb over this and I don't like the texture. That is a deeply subjective and personal thing, so it's not a fault with the pen, but that's just me. And I mentioned really nitpicking these translucent bits. I would prefer if most of it was the more opaque like this, but that is a personal nitpick. Again, doesn't sound like me, does it? So yeah, that's the Leonardo Momento Magico in the Brooks Calico Koi. Look, all else aside, it is stunning, and once I get that nib writing how I want it to write, i.e. not scratchily, I'm sure I will fall in love properly with this, but it is a bit of a disappointment. What can you do? Worst problems in the world, I suppose. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. See you next time.